Hello there. My name is Pietro Bettini.
Pietro, nice.
I'm here representing École Hôtelière de Lausanne Hospitality Business School. We are the first hotel school in the world, founded in 1893.
Where is Lausanne?
Lausanne is actually the Olympic city, is where all the decisions about Olympics are made. It's in Lake Le Mans, which is the lake where Geneva
Okay,
is.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, correct, the French part.
Interesting, interesting, fascinating. So when did you fly in to come to this conference?
I flew in last night from Florida,
Okay, interesting.
which is where I live right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be here a couple more days, visiting a few high schools around here.
Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, go ahead. Give us your pitch for what you're presenting here today. I'm fascinated to hear about it.
Sure. So, École Hôtelière de Lausanne is the number one hospitality business school in the world. We've been number one in the ranking for the last 5 years. And we mix academic with practical. So, in your first year, you'll be doing lots of hands-on workshops like wine class tasting or patisserie, chocolaterie laboratories. We actually have a Michelin star restaurant on campus. It's the only one in the world in an
Wow.
educational institute. And our students spend there a couple of weeks. They learn cooking techniques and they
Wow.
learn as well how to set the dining area, for example, how everything can be like in
Oh, wow.
perfect order. Yes,
Trained by Michelin standards and chef and
exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any other comparable schools out there? How unique is this as an institution?
So Switzerland is renowned for hospitality. So when you think about Switzerland, you always think about quality, and something that Switzerland specializes in is hospitality. You think about resorts in the Swiss Alps and so forth. So there is a few institutions around in Switzerland that
You guys are just the best.
we just
You're
like
just the best.
yeah,
Yeah.
top quality. In fact, we did acquire an old institution in the German side of Switzerland,
Wow.
which is more specific for culinary arts. It's called our Passug campus. So students who want to like specialize in becoming a chef, for example, they can study there. And then we have bilateral programs that you can move from one institution to another, depending on what you prefer.
that's interesting. How long is the program?
So we have a 4-year bachelor program, which is what I'm here to promote today. We also have postgraduate degrees, so short courses as well. We also have a junior academy summer camp, which is 1 week long and gives you a bit of a taste of what it's going to be like to live on campus with us and to see if the hospitality is the right place for you. We just bought 3 years ago a Singapore campus as well,
Wow,
which
that's far.
which during COVID time it was a bit tricky to go and study there, but now our students can go spend a semester there if they like, and then transfer back or fully transfer to Singapore. There's a slight difference with our Singapore campus because it's Singapore is the, let's say, the business hub of Southeast Asia. So there's more like an entrepreneurship mindset there. So we have a lot of guest speakers from luxury, high-end industries, and they come and recruit for us. For example, we have Rolex that comes
Oh,
and recruit
wow.
for us, and
Yeah.
all those like big names in the hotel industry, but not all the hotels.
Sure. Yeah. Now, I'd imagine that this would attract a big international student population.
Correct.
What do you have the proportion off the top of your head? How much is international? How many
Yes.
people are coming from Switzerland?
So I believe we are at the moment 65%. Well, going from with last year's number, we're
Yeah.
like 65% Swiss and the rest
Okay.
international. Our goal is to be 50-50.
50-50.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
that's
get
a pretty
in there.
unheard of ratio.
We
yeah.
get in there.
Wow. Now, okay, so not only are international students coming for the school, they would be coming for that Swiss culture as well. What's in the surrounding area that people can interact with? Is there anything you particularly enjoy?
Well, Lausanne is very well located. It's right in the heart of Switzerland. So with that, for example, I can go back to my hometown from Lausanne to Milan, which is where I'm from, just with a 3 hour train. You can go to Geneva, which is just half an hour. Zurich is 3-4 hours drive.
Wow.
Then Paris is not too far either.
Oh.
So like you're right in the heart.
Eugene likes that.
I do.
Right in the heart of Europe.
Europe. Yeah, that's something that Katie, we were talking to earlier, who's the organizer of the event,
Yeah.
was saying is so special about Europe specifically is the amount of different cultures that are so deep, and so distinct, but very like close to each other. And
Correct.
just a train ride or a plane ride away. Yeah, Eugene, do you have any questions about going to Switzerland? What would you be curious about?
I've actually come across this video
Whoa.
where people after work just go into the canal and just
Okay.
swim and let the current just carry them home.
Well, that sounds beautiful.
They just swim home
Like a lazy river.
like a lazy river. They just lie on their backs and their backpacks are in these little plastic bags that they just tie to their wrists.
Yeah, that works in summer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it in winter.
But yeah, in the summer,
Fair
even that, I've never seen any other countries where that happens.
Yeah, is that a unique happening, or is that something that's somewhat common in those summer months?
I'm not sure about canals. I know that there is like this big lakes, which you can see France off the other side of the lake. Do you know the famous water Evian?
Yes.
It's from a city in France that you can actually see from Lausanne. It's on the other side of the lake. I know there is a lot of lots of youngsters going to swim in the lake, paddle boarding, canoeing, kayak, you name it. They enjoy to refresh in the cool waters of our Swiss lakes.
Oh yeah, that sounds beautiful, especially on a long summer day.
Right. I also
It's a
have
good dip.
another question. Switzerland is very well known for their craftsmanship, Swiss watches, chocolate, and I just want to know how that came about.
Yeah, so we actually have over 40 committees in our, well, I guess you guys would call them student clubs.
Sure. Yeah.
The according to your interest, like you can join. Like there is people that are interested in watches, so they get together. Like I'm not sure what they get up to. They like show each other's watches. They discuss which one which one they prefer or not. You can also join like a mountain club, which they go for hikes, so they go skiing. And yeah, we actually have a boutique on our campus where our students that after graduating they start producing a chocolate or like little
Oh wow.
sweets. They can expose them in our boutiques and it's up for sale. And
That's
it's
great.
that's how we support our community.
I wonder how did Swiss chocolates become so famous?
That's a really good question. I don't believe there is cocoa beans that grow in Switzerland, but for some reason, chocolate has become. I guess it will be maybe with the milk quality that helps probably. But that's an interesting question. I've never thought deeply about that.
See, I just got back to the table. I was touring around, going through the presenters, seeing who's available. So we're talking about cocoa beans, chocolate.
I was just asking him, how did Swiss chocolates become so well known?
Got you.
What's
Well, I wonder the same thing because chocolate doesn't grow there, I assume.
I guess not. I think you need warmer temperatures.
I would say so. I would say so. But Switzerland, one of the most valuable currencies in the world, right?
Correct. Yes.
And
Yes. Swiss franc.
trying to think what else. One of the most valuable currencies, right? Beautiful skiing. What about the clothing? What do people typically wear? Because I'm picturing Switzerland sort of lederhosen. Maybe that's more German, but what what is the traditional dress?
Well, for example, in our institution, we care a lot about how you present yourself.
Okay.
So hospitality is not just about hotel and restaurant; it's about how you welcome your customers. So, dressing up is one of the main things. So
Sure.
we actually have something that we call a fashion police on campus.
Okay.
So before it used to be a lot stricter. Now it's a bit more lenient, but we make sure that you look good for our visitors.
Okay, this is why you come dressed so well. You know, your glasses are matching your jacket and such.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, can we get back to? You said you're from Italy, right?
Correct.
So, how did you? I guess Italy does touch Switzerland. Are you from the Swiss part of Italy?
There's not such a thing as Swiss part of Italy, but there is a.
The bordering area.
I'm from Milan, which is
Okay,
one
not
hour
so close.
drive from. It's 1 hour drive from the Swiss border.
Got it.
Switzerland is actually divided in, let's say, three major areas.
Yeah.
So 10%, 15% of Switzerland speaks Italian.
Sure.
20% speaks French, which is the part close to France, and the rest speaks German.
Does that mean all of your, let's say, television channels or government documents have to be in those three languages? Like, what do you write road signs in, for example?
That's a really good question. I do know that not everybody in Switzerland speaks Italian, but all the Italian speakers in Switzerland speak all three languages. And most of the people are bilingual. So Switzerland is also home to a lot of international organizations. So for example, I know that like there is this coexisting of two languages. All documents are most of the times in both languages. Same here, like in the US.
That's absolutely right. In Canada,
get it.
you've got to have Canadian
Yeah.
translation. Sure.
So I think we can relate.
So that's fascinating. If you're born in Switzerland, then you just grow up to be bilingual in
I guess
French,
so.
German, and
Italian as well.
Italian as well.
Now, I was just in Malaysia this summer, and I saw a society that was mixed between Indians, Chinese, and Malay, the native
Correct.
people. So that's another three ethnic groups there. So in Switzerland, how do these groups get along? How do they get? That's my question. How do they get along? Because Canada has many smaller ethnic groups that are here in Toronto, for example. But tell us about that in Switzerland.
Well, Switzerland is renowned also for, let's say, its neutrality.
Sure.
So if you think about like when there were wars,
Yeah.
Switzerland was always neutral. So I believe conflict is something that they're not accustomed to. So
Interesting.
I think they're very pacific with each other.
Yeah.
I would say, and Switzerland is also very. Would it make sense to say biodiverse in terms of like
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
There is like a whole different, like for example in France you get a lot of influence from North Africa and
You're right.
from Turkey and those kind of places, the French speaking ones
Yeah.
especially, and Switzerland is very much the same.
Sure.
So-
Can we talk about the demographics of this school that you're representing today?
Yeah, so our biggest representatives are from the area
Yeah,
where Lausanne is from, so the French side of Switzerland.
Mhm.
We get a lot of French students as well because our program is offered in two languages.
Okay.
I mean, 90% of the students do it in English, but you can also take the same course in French.
Mhm.
We have a lot of, I believe 7% of our students are from China.
Okay.
We are growing our Italian market also,
Uh-huh.
I believe, since I've joined EHL. So I'm trying to bring a lot more of Italians because in Italy, there isn't a major hospitality school, even though Italy is very renowned for its food and its restaurants.
Well, sure. Okay, you got me going there on the food. My mouth is watering. France and Italy, these are some of the most well-known cuisines in North America at the very
Well, let's
least.
put Italy first and then France. So
Okay,
Italy.
fair enough. You're an Italian. Yeah, that's understandable. So we're walking into the cafeteria at your school. What is on the menu?
We have a Asian food station.
Okay.
There is.
I did not expect you to start with that, but that's pretty.
Well, that's the one like I enjoyed the most. I was very surprised when I was
Oh,
there. Then
good,
there
good.
is vegetarian and vegan. There is the pizza and like breads area. Then there is, as I mentioned before, the Michelin star restaurant. You need a booking for that.
I did not hear that on your campus.
Yeah, on our campus.
Wow.
I was mentioning before that our students get to study and like let's say work there for 2 weeks. They
That is
learn cooking
fantastic.
techniques and how to set up a table for
Wow.
like a fine dining
That
experience.
sounds very valuable.
And there is 12 in total of food outlets. There is a sushi bar as well. There is I think one that like where you get like breakfast, pancakes and all sorts. So
Yeah.
it's there is no short of options for sure.
Okay. So when you're in this front-facing sort of service industry, right? You're dealing with people a lot, coming to your desk late at night, trying to get into their hotel, trying to get food, what have you. How do you prepare people to deal with some of these more troublesome folks that are traveling around the world that might give you some trouble? How do you learn that skill?
Well, in our 4-year program, it's included 2 internships that you do. So the first one you do it in your second semester.
Sure.
So in your first semester, as I was mentioned before, you do practical workshops. Then in your second semester, you put into practice what you learned. So an internship will help funding that internship, and the students end up in a hotel front desk or in a kitchen or in whatever area they
Yeah.
like to specialize.
Yeah.
So they get exposed already to a real world experience.
That's great.
They can do their internship wherever they want in the world. And we have students going to Miami, going to Abu Dhabi, going to Bali, those tourist hotspot.
Right.
Not hubs, hubs.
Yeah. Hotspot. Yep. Sure.
And then there is another internship that is more, let's say, managerial. So after you take in a couple semester of business classes, always with a hint of hospitality, you might wanna start putting those into practice. So, for example, you can work in, I don't know, accounting department of Marriott or the marketing department of Four Seasons, something like that.
That sounds exciting. I just want to know more about how campus life would look like, especially what the nightlife is in Switzerland.
So students are required to stay on campus the first 6 months, especially since they're doing so many workshops.
They're required to stay on campus.
Yes,
How
because
do you put little leg shackles on them? How do you know where they are?
No escape.
well, they just need to. We give them an accommodation. We have brand new rooms on campus.
Gotcha.
It's because sometimes you do a late night shift or like early morning, so it's just easier for us to have students on campus. And after the first semester, they can go off to live like in Lausanne City or
Sure.
like neighboring cities.
Um, so the UK, for instance, we had a guest speaker there too.
From London, yeah.
He was talking about pub culture. I was wondering if there's sort of that drinking culture in Switzerland too.
Yes, I believe there is, but it's more about the quality of drinking rather than getting the most alcohol in your body. I personally, I've been many times to Switzerland. I haven't lived there for longer than a month, I would say. But I know there is a lot of wine called, like, you get the influence of, I don't know, I would say German beer and French wines and Italian wines at the same time.
So just the best of both kinds.
No, it seems like you're very happy to be Italian. You love the food and the beverages of Italy. So you're from Milan,
Correct.
right? What neighborhood in Milan? Tell us about where you're from.
So I'm from Milan city center. I was born there and I lived there until I was 17 years old.
Okay.
Both of my parents are from Milan. And my family, actually, on my dad's side, they own the panettone factory. Do you know what a panettone is?
Yes, I
It's
do.
a Christmas cake.
It's a Christmas cake. Yeah, that's right.
When there was the economic boom in Italy in the 60s, my grandfather worked on that, and
he came to own it.
And he was an owner. Like his father
Yeah.
founded it, and then my granddad continued the legacy.
Amazing.
And we were in business until a couple of years ago.
So in Canada, we might give each other, we might send a Christmas card or give a poinsettia, which is a sort of flowered thing. So what's the history behind this cake?
So panettone is a classical Christmas dessert from Lombardy, which is my region, and
Okay.
it's what you would bring if you get invited for a dinner in December, January time. That's like you just bring a panettone.
Yeah. You might say, it's cold out here on the front step. I want to get into the
Exactly.
warm house. Here's what
Exactly.
I've got. Can
It's
we
big.
can we make a
It's
deal?
this kind of size, and it's
What's in
It's nice.
panettone?
good question. So there is flour, yeast.
Okay.
There is what we call, when you get orange and then
It's like
you kind of
candied,
candied
pea.
orange,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a big loaf of bread but sweet.
Mhm.
And then normally on the side you would have we call it zabayone, which is whipped cream and sugar that you have with it to dip in, make it more creamy, more enjoyable.
That sounds good. Is the cake like more dry or moist?
It's moist, yeah.
Mm.
It's good. I recommend
So I
it.
assume the Michelin star restaurant at your university would have these readily available for students to try, maybe on a special occasion or something like this.
And
They should look into that.
But yeah, that was my family's history of Milan.
Wow.
I moved away from Milan when I was 17. I started traveling the world.
Nice.
And I moved to Australia. I spent there 8 years of my life
Oh,
in
wow.
the east coast of Australia. Then I went back to Milan a couple of years, and now I came here. I live in Florida at the moment.
Right.
Florida State University.
All right.
With my master's.
Well, we're going to get into a music break here momentarily. I want to give you one last chance. Can you talk, just summing up briefly, what is the school and what is it offering?
So we offer the #1 Bachelor in International Hospitality Management program. We offer academic and practical learning experiences. We top of the quality, um, top of the quality education. Switzerland is just like an amazing place to live. It's very safe. Everything works smoothly. Not quite like it.
Bit of a criticism.
No,
You're saying
it's
compared to.
no, sometimes compared to Italy. Like,
Okay.
Italy sometimes gets a bit messy. Switzerland is very on point, very precise. Swiss people are renowned for their punctuality. Correct.
Well said.
So yeah, one of the best educations in the world you'll get. You get exposed to great employers from luxury industry, high end industry. So we select very accurately our candidates. There is an admission process that takes 2 or 3 weeks, I would say, with a final interview where our admission officers and some student ambassadors select them. So
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Pietro, for your time. And
Likewise.
it was
Thank
very
you for
interesting
having
to
me.
know about EHL. And I didn't know there was a Michelin restaurant just readily available in a campus. I've never heard that.
We've got like Tim's on our campus. I mean, is that going to work for you, Tim Hortons?
Well, thank you so much. And we will be back after a short